CPI came out today, and its effects on the crypto market were very interesting. And in today's video, I want to go ahead and talk about what CPI means for Bitcoin. And then also, I want to talk about what the FOMC upcoming tomorrow is going to mean for Bitcoin and the broader crypto market. Hello there, my name is Cody, and if you guys are just joining me for the first time, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button so that way you guys don't miss any of my videos, and be sure to follow me on Twitter for the most up-to-date information. So first, we're going to start with our CPI. The Consumer Price Index came out today, and it came out basically in line with expectations. We're at about 4% or so on all items over the last 12 months. And so the market kind of rallied a little bit on this information, and Bitcoin went up a little bit, and then it came back down again. So if we go ahead and take a look at our Bitcoin chart, we can see the one candle that really sticks out among all the other candles here, and that is this crazy looking candle with a huge wick to the upside and a huge wick to the downside. So what happened here was when CPI was released, we saw a huge wick to the upside. We saw the price go as far as 26,400. It was quickly oversold, and then it came back up again. And so now it closed here at about 26,000 even. Now, what's interesting about this is that we have an intersection of true strong resistances, and we have the resistance level here at the 26,200, and on top of that, we have the 200 hourly moving average as well. And this whole area here combines for a significant amount of sellers right there that are ready to push the price lower if it tries to break out. So unfortunately, it couldn't get past this resistance, and that means that it would shortly fall thereafter. We saw the price go from 26,000 all the way back down here to 25,700. So Bitcoin kind of remains range bound right now from about 26,200 all the way down to about 25,400, and it's been kind of moving sideways ever since. Now, we've seen very similar things happen in Ethereum as well. Again, range bound here. However, the resistance point for Ethereum is up here at about 1773. It came all the way up here to about 1766 and then sold off heavily. Now, the one really interesting coin that I want to talk about here is Binance Coin. Binance Coin actually rallied fairly significantly here. And so you see that we had the CPI print came out this morning, and then something else very interesting happened that actually pushed it much higher. And I want to go ahead and talk about that thing in the next section of this video. But first, I want to point out the fact that this resistance point that we have right here at about 253, this is going to be incredibly strong resistance right now for Binance Coin, and if it can get above this level, then it would overcome some serious resistance and gain some momentum to the upside. Now, again, this is a 200-hour moving average right here, and this is the resistance point that we saw that was previously support coming down earlier in June. So I want to talk about what caused Binance Coin to rally today, and that is that the U.S. judge has rebuffed the SEC's request for the BinanceUS asset freeze. So this judge basically ordered that they didn't need to have a suspension of these assets, this freeze of these assets. They refused the temporary restraining order for the U.S. trading platform's assets. And this right here, I think, is really good news, especially for BinanceUS users, and just knowing that the exchange isn't going to have its assets suspended and freezed by this restraining order. I think that's a really good sign, and I would say that's Binance's very first victory in this case. And it doesn't really sound like the judge was moved by the SEC's decision and request in order to get that those assets suspended. So we'll have to follow this case as things develop. But as information came out on that, we saw a huge rise up in the Binance coin price as well. Again, good news for Binance. And we've seen it come up here and threaten this resistance level here. Next, I want to talk about what's going on tomorrow. And if we take a look at our MarketWatch economic calendar, we can see here that Tomorrow is going to be probably the biggest day of the week. Not only do we have the producer price index, which is important information about inflation, but we also have the FOMC, the Federal Open Market Committee, and then the Fed Chair Jerome Powell's press conference happening at 2:30. So this right here is probably going to dictate what happens for the rest of the week. We're going to see some serious volatility for the rest of the week. What we saw today is nothing compared to what we could see tomorrow, and that's especially if both PPI comes in lower than expected, and hopefully if the Fed decides to pause on those rate hikes. And that being said, I think that this pause is priced in currently to the market. So if we take a look at our CME FedWatch tool, what we can see here is that it's at about a 94% chance or 94% likelihood that they will, in fact, pause and not raise by another 25 basis points. And so it's entirely possible that we'll wind up getting that pause. And if that's the case, I think that's already priced into the market currently in crypto. We're kind of expecting that they'll pause. Now, some people have been saying it's going to be a hawkish pause. They will pause now and then raise later. I am less convinced that's going to be the case because we've seen inflation continue to come back down again, especially with that CPI reading that we had today. And I think that this is likely to be the beginning of the end of high interest rates. Now, it's always possible they'll do another 25 basis points, but I think from here on out, it's going to be all downhill. So we might wind up getting a pause. We could potentially get a hike some point in the future, but after that, I think that we're basically free and clear. Now, here's why this is important to Bitcoin. If we go ahead and take a look at Bitcoin and we superimpose the Fed funds rate with the Bitcoin chart. So the Fed funds rate here is in orange, and our Bitcoin chart is in our normal candlestick colors. What we can see here is that it has an opposite relation with the with Bitcoin. So as the Fed funds rate increases, Bitcoin tends to suffer in a higher interest rate environment. We saw that here in the rise up in 2017 when they raised rates, and then the bull market got absolutely exhausted, and then they kept raising and they kept raising and they kept raising, and then we see the price goes down significantly. And then when they finally peaked out here in 2018, we saw the end of the bear market in Bitcoin. Now we've also seen this happen in 2021 as well. We had the big run up here for this bull market, and this was all during a time in which the Fed funds rate was at near zero. And now we're starting to see, as they increase the Fed funds rate dramatically, we saw a huge rundown in the Bitcoin price. So that means that if the Fed funds rate finally stays at the level that it currently is, or even comes down, that will be bullish for Bitcoin, and as a result, the broader cryptocurrency market as well. I think that this is going to be incredibly bullish when we finally see this pause, if it happens tomorrow, or if they decide to do a surprise rate increase. The market's not going to respond very positively to that. But even in that case, I would expect them to pause after that and then to keep it at that level for a little while and then start cutting. So that, in that case, that would put us on a perfect timetable for that 2024 halving and that 2024 bull market. So let me know what you guys think about the FOMC and what you think they're going to be doing. Are they going to be raising rates? Are they going to be pausing? Or is there a possibility that we could get a rate cut? That would be very important to know. It would be very interesting, very bullish for Bitcoin if they wind up pausing and then cutting rates. That would also be very positive for the crypto market as a whole, because now you won't have the incredibly high Fed funds rate that's pushing down crypto prices. Okay, this is Cody the Coin Raptor, and I hope to catch you guys on the next video.